Call the meeting to order. Good luck. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome. For those that don't know, Andrew could not record this meeting. Pam will be recording it. Could we have a roll call, please? Clerk Kern.
Sure, Supervisor Bertrand.
I'm here.
Treasurer Hupp.
Here.
Clerk Kern here. Trustee Monet.
Here.
Trustee Detmer.
Here. Thanks, sir. For the sake of those who may only want to be here for the reports, we'll do the board reports first. So we are doing something different tonight. And you will hear me say we're going to do a timestamp so we can find things in the videos easier. But we'll start with the board reports. And Clerk Kern, if you want to go first, that would be great.
Okay, I'm looking for my report real fast. If you put it with the other ones or no?
Yours should be in your packet.
Oh,
If I want to start with I got it, we can do that.
Okay, clerk's office report up to and including 10/14. The usual, the busy clerk's office handled a variety of calls and residents visits, trying to maintain the degree of excellence with which you are entitled. Done so with a smile, happily redirecting calls to their proper destination. Anxious to tell you of my volunteer stint at the compost site. 50 residents, some at the recycle bins, came by to chat, express concerns, share his experience, and let me know that they were glad to see a representative from the town hall, although not the first time. I also used a little of my time to watch some of the great softball games that were going on. I have to admit, I watched parts of 5 games. All taxes, reports, and audit information were filed in a timely manner. The bills and payroll have been properly addressed. My right arm Courtney has continued to help all visitors to our office needing assistance. I can do many things, but she does them 5 times faster. We'll continue to strive for 100% satisfaction for all residents, full and part-time, but we know that's not possible. There's never a boring day at the clerk's office. I thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Clerk Kern? Okay, we'll move on. How about Treasurer Hobbs?
Mine's kind of right to the point, basically. Summer tax collection, the millage disbursements are in full swing. Started collecting the sewer assessments for Camp Cornelia, which is almost in its second to last year. And we're just putting the finishing touches on the contracts for the electronics and metal recycling. Starting November 1st, and we met with GFL and found out, which I'm sure we'll get into later tonight, about being overcharged for the last some odd years by 80 residents. So when we get into this part tonight, I strongly suggest we go after them back as long as we can get. Because it's a lot of money we're talking about. But I'm sure we'll talk about that later on today.
Any questions for our treasurer from the public? Seeing none. We will move on to the sexton. I see that Bruce is not here. I do not have a copy of his report, but you guys probably do. I think right here, this. Yeah, there's really not, I know he had told me he had a burial this week. So in the last month, he had one burial, one cremation, and a lot of headstones placed. Bruce does a pretty good job. He's working hard every day on the leaves and probably will be right up until the snow hits. If you have any questions for Bruce, I can forward it to him if anybody has anything for the sexton. Okay, we'll keep moving now. Maintenance department. Okay, but I have a maintenance report and a fire report.
This the one from Wednesday?
Same ones, but same, yeah, here we go again.
Yeah, we get to hear it all over again. Except I didn't do anything with maintenance myself. All right, so we'll start with maintenance. So I found out that you guys voted no on having the brush pile ground up, that you're gonna burn it again. So I'll skip that one. Ball field sprinklers need 16 heads replaced. And Rich and I have discussed it. We can probably do that ourselves without hiring somebody in to do it. We did replace one to this year and it was pretty easy. We did get the dump trailer back. We do have it all set up for leaves. As a matter of fact, Richard and I used it today
Really?
and it worked out pretty good. We did have to modify the front of the trailer because some leaves were blown out the front, but that's all fixed. It works great.
Good.
A lot easier than before. So we're running out of room with the compost building to store equipment. We have inside right now, we have a tractor, boxes for recyclables, buoys, as well as snowplow truck, salter. And if you looked at the trailer lately at all, the dump trailer is in bad shape from sitting out in the weather all the time. We're looking at not this year, but soon within the next year or so, getting a awning type carport put up at the compost site so we can store the equipment underneath it and keep it out of the weather, try to make it last a lot longer than it is now. What else here?
Just when it comes to that, JC, are you guys gonna build it?
Yeah,
You and Richard?
yeah. And from what Richard says, we might get some help, so at no cost. That's all I got for maintenance. Any questions?
I'm sorry, I was daydreaming there. Anybody got questions for our maintenance person? One of two. Okay, we'll move on to fire department.
Okay. So currently we're at run number 113. Okay, we've had 77 EMS runs, 36 fire runs this year. Okay, we've turned over 64 EMS calls and we've turned over one fire call. Yours is going to be a different number because I had to go back and fix it because when I looked at it, I did my numbers wrong. But so we've turned over 64 EMS calls and we've turned over one fire call this year. So back in July, I presented a program. I call it pay to stay, but someone else doesn't like that saying. But basically it's to pay an EMT to be in, or EMR and EMT to be in the area and available for the weekend from a certain time to a certain time to make sure we have coverage at least for the weekend. It's a stepping stone is what it is. Okay, and then we're going to look at further on of going into other items, maybe possible part-time. Okay. 64 calls that our residents were going to pay a lot more money than they would ever pay with us being on scene. That's a lot of calls, and the year is not even over yet. All our other EMTs all work part-time jobs now, so they're not here. They're not in the area. Okay. I also had a quote for the fire department parking lot to be seal coated, repainted, $4,960. I'm looking at that maybe next year. I got too much I got to do about that. We are having a Halloween party this year. The Halloween party will be held October 31st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're doing like a basket giveaway for family members. Gail's added a lot more stuff to it. Hopefully, we might even have a dunk tank there this year.
Perfect for you.
Make sure you hit up on, website and,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna send the resorter a flyer.
on our sites.
I also have it all out throughout the township right now anyway on flyers. That's all I got.
So on the seal coating, was that the same company he was?
I believe so. It was the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
and one coat?
I don't remember. It's been a while since he said anything to me.
Well, yeah, cause
I'm assuming it's gonna be one coat, yeah.
yeah, we ought to be able to try and get something going when they were already out here close with the equipment, cause we're looking at doing this in the spring too.
Yes.
All right, cool. You were gonna, or we asked you to bring something back in writing about this. State of play is there, I mean, I get it if you don't have it right
No,
now.
I do.
but we need something.
I gave it to Mr. Pern today. It's right there in front of him.
This with the red on it?
Yep. He made a bunch of copies, it looks like.
For the weekends. Well, you got enough to go down the line here?
Give you the whole thing there.
Where did it? So I don't know what's that here.
Let's go together.
Oh, they go together. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean. One more of these staple ones. Oh. okay. There we go. All right.
These are two separate ones.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he wanted the ones for the, sign call.
Stay.
I'm gonna want to.
Yeah, but
What
do
do
you
you
have
call
any
it, Gail?
staple two-part ones?
What?
Do you have any more of the staple ones?
Gail calls it weekend on-call coverage.
I don't think so,
All right,
but there could be,
well, that's okay.
one is a fire EMS and one is,
Yeah, I don't, we can't read this now.
okay, go.
No, I mean, I get it, but I can, a little birdie came and told me we're probably gonna have a special meeting fairly soon. So we could certainly get to it then. That might be like 10 days, something like that.
Well, we can discuss this under my proposal then.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to get through this, so. Especially if possible. I mean, missing all these calls like that,
Oh, yeah,
all the residents
yeah.
covered.
Well, we're just kind of going by the agenda a little bit right now. We got a couple more things to do before we get to that. Three agenda additions you want to talk about, and then we can discuss this other thing pretty well. But yeah, JC's got a pretty well laid out, him and Gail.
I gotta actually admit, Gail did most of the work on the paperwork. She's been there all week, so
Smart thing to say.
I gotta put it where credit is due.
All right. That'll get you a better supper.
I cook.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And yeah, we're coming up to some stuff later. Good, got it. Next, well, is there any questions fire department wise for our chief?
One thing I just want to compliment AC. I had to call for an ambulance twice last month. And it was very comforting. To see JC, I don't know him personally, I just know him from meetings, but it was still very comforting. They were there and I was at the hospital in no time.
Cool.
I know how to drive.
And you know the roads.
You wouldn't mind putting that in a little letter would be awesome.
Yeah, we've gotten one letter on him and 3 phone calls saying what a nice job they did.
I'll say I'm sorry if I
Yes,
did.
those are all nice to hear.
Absolutely.
My crew did most of the work. I just drove.
Well, that matters. No other questions? Okay, we'll move on to Parks and Rec. Chairwoman Leanne Wisnowski forwarded this to Supervisor me, the following information. All the reports are over on that table for anybody who wants to get them. I was also at the Parks and Rec meetings as Township Board liaison, so I know this to be true. The money requested by Parks and Rec Board to book bands for the summer in 26 was approved. We began searching for and contracting bands. Some we're definitely bringing back. We got some leads on new ones. A lot was accomplished in the parks this year. We'll shortly be circulating a 5-year master plan survey for the parks. It will start on social media if that can be controlled. And also will be put in the December winter tax letters. That solves the problem of reaching out to everybody and giving them a shot to give us their input. The survey and the results are needed for future grant requests. Work's ongoing to have an ice rink at Park 27 again. We're waiting on a grant request right now that may cover the cost of the new liner. We still have the existing border. We have enough snow. We're going to plow up a Kitty Snow Hill and all of that to be ready by Winterfest. Right in the middle of a long-range plan to upgrade and maintain all our parks up to the safety standards we will all be proud of. As we get more involved, we will begin to update the park records retention schedule. Hopefully over this winter as part of the upgrade. I believe there's at least 6 grant applications with deadlines throughout winter going into next summer. Amanda Wachinski is really on the ball for what is available and on it. We're working on new signs for all the parks and what branding will be universally used on those signs. Our efforts to restart Friends of Lyon Township this fall did not come to fruition. We will be back at developing some method of support from the residents come late winter. We need softball or little leagues baseball teams to return to Lyon in the spring and form to play in the women's and the men's leagues active in Houghton Lake. Any ideas on that, please get a hold of me or Leanne. We hope to be able to add power at the backstop next spring that allows pitching machines to be used for the Little League teams. Big draw, from what I understand. The large fish sculpture statue, which is part of a set of 5 on the new water tour throughout Roscommon County, will really be something. We're working hard to have that revealed at Winterfest. Our baseball field, amphitheater, pickleball, tennis courts, and parks finally look great and play better. I can't wait for the ice rink and the Winterfest. Things are going good. Thank you to the maintenance crew from Parks and Rec Board. Anybody got any questions for me about that? I can probably answer them or forward them to Leanne. Okay, we will move on. Trustee Monet, look at that. I wrote it down and everything.
Yeah, good evening. Most of my comments of things have to do with things that are on the agenda, so I'm going to refrain from speaking a lot about them. But most of what I've been doing the last 3 to 4 weeks is researching the SAD and the lake level that I now wish I had been involved with a long time ago, because it is way more involved than I would have thought. And it's always involved anyway. So between doing research in that and the state statute and laws, also researching, which we will be talking about here in the agenda, the current situation with GLUA and what we did last evening. So most of my comments and information will be given at that time.
Any questions for Trustee Monet? Okay, keep moving. Trustee Detmer.
Also, I've been working with the planning commission. We're working on the short-term rental agreement right now. I've been doing the liquor inspections as I'm assigned to do. And most other than that, just meeting with the public and talking to them.
Any questions for Trustee Detmer? Okay, we'll move on to the supervisor report. Working on health insurance coverage options, booking bands for next summer, getting bids on tree cutting, snow plowing. Working on changing our IT company, updating and contributing to GLUA meetings, park and rec meetings, FOIA requests, Various board meeting minutes, fire department planning, park inspections with our insurance company, additional security cameras, and anything else that shows up in this office, my email, and the supervisor complaint forms. Primarily, though, we are beginning to go over all the budget funds as we have passed the halfway point in the fiscal year. So we're going to start looking at them. Pam and I'll work on that. I am not comfortable until I have an idea of where we are. And if we're good till the end of the year, great. And if we're not, we need to know it now. Any questions for me as supervisor? Okay, move on to ordinance officer, acting. When the township made it clear that we'll no longer be involved in property disputes and to call the fire department or sheriff's department if you are in danger or having serious trespass problems, the amount of complaints dropped significantly as the summer went on. Most residents now understand we cannot be counted on to render any aid or immediate response. They must call the fire department or the sheriff's office first. I think that message is finally getting out there. Thank God. Nobody should be counting on us to get there first. With the exodus of part-time residents since September, the complaints remaining went down about 70% more to supervisor or ordinance officer combined. Richard Braylon was unfortunately unable to continue in his employment as the ordinance officer. I had waited a long time to get him here because I knew his skill set and apply his computer knowledge to our ordinance officer filing systems, and that's plural with an S, and shouldn't be. I wished him the best. However, he was here long enough to explain to me what can and cannot be done in regard to our past and current ordinance officer files. That'll be a great help, and I'll start on reorganizing those files in early winter. In general, things have really slowed down. Any questions for me on the ordinance officer aspect of this? Yes, sir.
Call the police fire department, can you change it, call 911?
Yeah, great idea.
Call fire department. Call 911. Have to have a record.
Great idea. We can pump that out on the Facebook page right away to make sure there's no confusion on it. I'm just glad, they're not calling me when they feel threatened or calling the office. They call the office and leave a message like, we're here, we're not here.
Okay, I'm back. All the non-emergency dispatch,
Well, he said who?
so.
Well, we can put both of them in there. We can put both of them on the Facebook page.
Sheriff's office.
Good idea. Put all three of them on there. Okay, anybody else with questions on the ordinance officer stuff for now?
May I make a comment?
You certainly can.
Thank you. Doing my research, as I like to do, it's come to my attention that when Richard Braylon resigned, that left us without an ordinance officer. And although the supervisor can appoint someone, this board never formally voted to reappoint Paul Bertrand as supervisor, and I would suggest that we do that this evening.
Oh, seriously.
I was actually gonna add to the agenda.
Yeah.
Discussion on actually hiring somebody.
Oh,
Well, if
Either-
you want to add,
but we'll get, I'm sure we'll have.
if you, when we get there, we could do that.
Thank you.
Questions about ordinance officers, so. Okay, this is a bit unusual. We're gonna amend something from the minutes that were published. I was told you need to do it right away in these meetings. We're gonna do it right now, just to make sure that it doesn't linger. This is in reference to, meeting minutes from June 25th. And there was an error in there that needs to be corrected, and they were already published, so we need to do it formally here with a motion. I will make a motion to approve amending the June 25th special board meeting minutes as follows. Under line 6, motion by Supervisor Bertrand, second by Detmer, to hire Pamela Scott as deputy supervisor. at a rate of $20 per hour, and then in quotation marks, for up to 15 hours per week. And that was all in there. We need to add the word and as needed. So in going back over the videotape, actually said and 2 times. There was a lot of confusion about this. So the word and needs to be inserted, just one word, but boy, did that ever change the meaning of everything. So do we have a second then?
Sure, I'll second.
Okay, so then we can have further discussion.
Mhm.
I think everybody kind of already knows what that was about. I don't have anything else to say.
Just- And start by saying, I made a mistake. I missed something. I missed the word and on the tape several times. And in my minutes, I did not include and that proved to be a problem. So, I agree that, it should be fixed. Number one, and I thought the best I can do is admit my mistake. It was not it was an error of omission. I didn't make a mistake. I just left something out and not on purpose.
No, I mean, we all make mistakes. We just gotta fix it. So,
I have a couple comments if I may.
you sure.
So I have a problem in general with the wording of it because legally up to means up to. I think this board should rescind and repeal that motion, rewrite the motion and restate it without that and just as needed. And here's why. In the MTA training guidebook, according to state statute, correcting minutes. MCL 15.269 states, the public body shall make any corrections in the minutes at the next meeting after the meeting in which the minutes refer. That's it. There's only one opportunity to ever make any corrections in a set of minutes. One bite of the apple. Even if the board does not vote to approve the minutes at the meeting where the minutes may be corrected, the minutes stand as approved. Changes should be limited to correcting typos or clarifying ambiguities that should not change history. If a board thinks better of a motion approved at the last minute, the minutes are not the way to fix the problem. The minutes will show that motion. The board may be able to reconsider or repeal that motion at a subsequent meeting, but should consult with its attorney for specific guidance on whether and how to do so. If something was omitted, in this case it was, or entered incorrectly on the minutes and a correction was not made at the very next meeting, then a township by statute board may address the matter at a future meeting and then include the correction or explanation of the minutes at that meeting, but the minutes of the original meeting cannot be legally changed. MCL 15.269 goes on to require that the corrected minutes must show both the original entry and the correction. This is accomplished by drawing or typing a line through the incorrect text, not blacking it out, and handwriting the new text above it or typing the new text in all caps. And there's a few more things in here about if the board forgets or does not to vote to correct or approve minutes, those minutes stand as approved in the sense they cannot be changed after that meeting. So I highly object at this time, going back to minutes from July and changing them. I would request that this board rescind that motion, reword it, rewrite it, and revote to make it legal.
Okay, anybody else got any comments or discussion in it?
When it says as needed, you're gonna work like the rest of the deputies up to 23 hours.
That's fine.
Okay.
What I'm saying, this is referencing you can't add the word and at this
Yeah,
time.
I just didn't, I saw 15, but
I think the 15 should be removed because it's finite.
Okay, let's slow down and stick with this. I got you. I got your input.
Okay.
The 15, there is no 23. She was hired at 15 and as needed. The and as needed is for many people here. Because you don't know when some kind of an emergency might come up and you have to be here working.
Doesn't as needed cover up to the 15? Isn't it redundant to say it twice?
No, it does. For 15 hours per week and as needed. So if it's for more than 15, as needed means it's that week, that day, that time, it was needed. The 23, I'm not familiar.
typically all the deputies work is 23 hours, so that.
I it really doesn't make any difference to me as long as the word and is in there. I think you said that we could do it later than a month. I really don't care how it happens. But the word and needs to be in there to move forward and as needed. It's on all the hires we've done since the complaints back when we first hired people. And they were tracking all the hours, and the second it went past 23, there was an uproar.
Right. So basically what this says again is if something was omitted or entered incorrectly in the minutes and a correction was not made at the very next meeting, which is the statute,
Right.
then a township board may address the matter tonight at a future meeting and then include the correction or explanation in our minutes for this evening. But those original minutes must stand by law.
Yeah, they get struck. and
No,
the other ones.
No, they have to, it says right in here, they
No.
must,
Line through it. And
Yeah.
you
but the original must stand as well.
With a line through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
We've
required,
done this, we did something like this
Yeah.
once before.
yeah. But I just want to make sure there's a clarification because you
Okay, well,
can't just change it. You must just correct it. And
thank you
keep it
for
right.
clarification. Yeah, we would have to run a line through it and put this in there too.
Mhm. So,
Any other discussion from the board?
It does say one thing, there, when you put the word and in, and I'm not trying to retract my statement before, but it does seem like a carte blanche. And is needed. What if she's needed 12 hours a day?
And she'll work it.
No, what it's like, then, you know.
That's the intent is if you have an emergency or when we get into tax time. If more hours are, and it applies, I guess it doesn't apply to the other two deputies hiring language. It certainly applies to everybody that we've hired since the dust up over the hours. There are times that it may come in handy and it's there. So, I mean, we can all vote on this as it is, and if that's a problem that won't pass.
and so ultimately, as needed is 80 hours a week as needed if something comes up.
If
Boom.
something comes up, the amount of hours that would need to do it, you could put any number on that you want. That's not what the intent is to have somebody work a bunch of hours and make more money than
I would-
anybody sitting
yeah.
there. But I don't care. It just needs to get fixed in the long run. I'll go back to the motion. Does anybody else got anything to say about the motion? If not, we'll end the discussion. So for the sake of clarity, the motion is on line 6, Supervisor Bertrand, second by Detmer, to hire Pamela Scott as deputy supervisor at a rate of 20 per hour for up to 15 hours per week and as needed, and being included or added. And as you said, handled that way. Could we have a roll call, please? Clerk Kern.
Sure. Treasurer Hop,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
No,
supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
clerk Pern, yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries 4-1, and trustee Monet, please remind me or talk to me about when we do that inclusion to make sure that it's looking the way it should.
absolutely.
Okay, moving forward, there's 3 agenda additions for discussion. On a fire department plan for coverage, board meeting minutes, and deputy supervisor Scott. They follow right here, so. A discussion on fire department proposal led by Clerk Kern would be number 9. A discussion on how board meeting minutes are circulated for approval and posted in the newspaper is number 10. And a discussion on deputy supervisor Scott accessing should be to view only, not change. All BSNA software modules to identify and resolve any potential problems found in our mid-fiscal year 25-26 review. Just a long way of saying we got to get in there and look at the stuff and see where we're at. That would be number 11. Now, does any other board members have additions that they'd want to add?
Discussion on hiring an ordinance officer.
Okay, that would be number 12. Any others besides that? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oh,
Opposed?
did we get a second?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, timestamp. That's 40-minute point, 40-minute point on the video. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. The consent agenda, all of what I'm going to name here is over on that table and in your packet. So it includes that amended minutes for June 25th. Minutes from September 10th work session, September 17th board meeting, payroll and payments. So that is in our consent agenda for this meeting. I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
1 second.
Okay, any discussion on it?
There's a couple items on here that are questionable items. Very first one. A and B land clearing, that job hasn't been done yet, so I'm not sure why we're paying them. And A&W Consulting,
That's Grant, or that's Amanda Lachinski.
yeah, I'm looking at her time sheet here. And she's at $60 an hour for writing grants.
Right,
But she's also charging $60 an hour to attend Parks and Rec meeting.
yep.
When the rest of the people get paid $50 or $40-something for the grant.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't agree with that.
Well, we passed it because she's an expert, so that's why we're paying.
Grant writing, I said I had no problem with that. I have a problem with them paying $60 an hour sitting here in a meeting when the rest of the,
Okay,
the rest of the, you know what I mean, the rest of the committee gets $48 for the day.
she's not here at those meetings to be like Park and Rec, she's here to advise us. So if you looked at it, there's money to pay a grant writer, and there's money for tutorial aspects that was originally supposed to be a planning commission. So when she comes to those meetings, it's constantly bouncing things off her on what we can do with grants. She sits in the meetings to do that, so it's not like she's not doing the $60 an hour stuff. It's more like she's advising on what we can do and what we can propose.
I still oppose it.
Okay, well, if we can't pay her,
Just for those, you can pay her for those hours, just at the meeting hours, the meeting rating.
I can only explain again, she is not a regular member. She is not even on the Parks and Rec board. She comes to the meetings to serve the purpose of giving the Parks and Rec board advice on the grants that we're trying to do. So it gives them to us, lists what we can try and get, goes through the criteria, make sure that's what the master plan stuff is about.
It's fine.
Spells out what we need to do. That's all grant writing stuff.
I see your hours here for grant writing, Parks and Rec meeting. Parks
Right.
and Rec meeting.
That's different. As trustee Monet said before, there are two funds we're supposed to be pulling from. And looking over the budget, one is not real apparent right now, but one is for grant writing. One is for tutorial stuff. And that's why she broke that pay down into those two categories. I hear you, but it's not like she's a Parks and Rec member. She's in here steering for us, trying to scrap every bit of money we can.
Well, I also agree with all the grant, stuff that she's doing. What I have an issue with is the 3 hours that she was at Parks and Rec meetings. Why that would be at the $60. Now, you've done your best to explain that. And I understand that she's giving guidance during that meeting, but, how would we know that?
Sit- What? I sit through every one. I'm on the Parks and Rec board.
Did you say that to us before? Or did you explain that?
I've never seen minutes from
Meeting where something like that?
Way there, it was to be back up again. Maybe I'm not being clear. Her tutorial aspect was, when we brought it up, her deal, we were gonna pay her to write grants and pay her to teach the planning commission how to write grants.
Mm-hmm.
The planning commission then said, we don't want any part of this. It immediately shifted over to Parks and Rec, because they were willing to do the work and learn how to do the grants. That's how we got where we're at.
I think
Does
it's
she
better.
write any grants yet? Just out of curiosity.
I think 3, we got 6 more in the hopper right now. We can pay the best and to try and get this free money or not. I can tell you right now that this woman knows more than anybody that I have seen.
That's fine. That's,
Okay,
it just. I mean,
So that was a question. You did your best to answer. I think that was a good answer. The tutorial, we didn't know that before.
well, I believe I've said that a couple of times.
Well,
and I get,
I can't believe you said it, but
Well,
it
I mean-
didn't stick with me. So now
that's.
I just,
We did it.
it's because it's in the.
There's a consent agenda.
I had like to make a comment, but I don't know what they're talking about because I don't have that information in front of me. Although I appreciate the board's effort for giving me a board packet, I will not be voting yes for the consent agenda because this is the first time I'm seeing payroll is this evening, even though I've asked for it and we passed a motion that I would receive this information in a timely manner. So I have no idea what Treasurer Hobbs is talking about because I have nothing in front of me that talks about what Anna's getting paid. Nothing. So.
There, it is there. None of this was actually available until yesterday. I'm pretty sure I put it in your mailbox.
Yeah, I got everything. It's in here where there's nothing.
Right, but it's been in there. I let you guys know. I emailed you that all that stuff was in there 2 days ago, so.
Yeah, and Clerk Kern was very gracious to drop this off to me, but the check register was not in there. I still haven't received the revenue and expenditures report as I have requested numerous times. And I have no idea what's her name again? Winchesky?
Amanda, when it's the ANW. Her name's not on. Company sheet.
Oh, she's A&W Consulting?
Yeah,
I didn't know that either. Sorry.
valid point. So any more discussion on it? Okay, hearing none. I will restate it again for clarity. So we have the motion to approve the consent agenda, including amended minutes for June 25th, minutes from September 10th work session. September 17th board meeting, payroll payables. There's money in there. Could we have a roll call, please? Clerk Kern.
certainly. Treasurer Hobbs,
No,
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes, because this is, we're gonna down the whole payroll system.
Trustee Monet,
No.
Trustee Detmer,
No,
Clerk Kern, yes.
Okay, okay,
you did the motion wrong. The ones that need to be removed, we can remove them. The rest or vote on the ones that I had brought on. Not, you don't have to do the whole thing.
well, I misunderstood what you were talking about, but
we're talking about the payroll for the whole township for.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was,
There's an item on there that work has not been performed, so I have no clue why we are paying them.
And you mean work has not been.
that's all, it's at the motion. I vote yes.
A and B land clearing.
Oh, okay. That's, yeah, that's a part of the minutes if you want to.
Well, they're on the payroll here. $4,400.
That is one of the issues with minutes, yes. If you want to strike the minutes,
That's, yes, that has to go.
sir. What's the date on those minutes? Should be up on the top of it there if you're looking at it.
Well, this is 10/16 here, oh, 9/19 to 10/16. Doesn't say what date.
No, he's looking at,
I'm looking at it, I'm looking
yeah,
at the invoice, the check register. That
Oh.
has to go.
if she wrote it now and sent it to him, I don't think she paid him twice.
I don't think she wrote
They
it
did
yet.
not write the check yet, but this is on it to be written. If we approve,
Let's ask,
she's gonna write the check.
let's ask.
Yes, we cannot play A and B. Guys decide on the end of it. Canvas.
We're still discussing
No.
now. But A and B cannot be paid. So we
Okay.
need not pay them.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay. Amend the invoice register then.
I'll make a motion to amend the invoice register and remove the pay for, what's the name of that company?
A and B.
B land.
A and B Land.
That's fine. When the work is done, they'll get paid. They're not getting paid before.
Okay, so the motion
And that's
is,
not the amount anyway. That amount is for. We're
That's
gonna
for the compost.
compost.
okay, so the motion is to remove the A and B, the money for A and B from that check register. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call for that?
Certainly. Clerk Kern, yes. Trustee Monet,
Yes.
trustee Detmer,
Yes,
supervisor Bertrand,
Yes. Yes.
treasurer Huff.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
And for the record, can we have a formal withdrawal of the prior motion by the parties that supported it as well to not approve the consent agenda before we move forward approving now the consent agenda?
Do we have to make a motion to pull the motion to? We could have done, you can say I made the motion, I withdraw. We can do another one if you'd like.
Well, I would like it formally withdrawn and stated for the record that it's formally withdrawn
Okay,
by whoever.
why don't you make that?
No, it has to be done by the people who, I want it formally withdrawn by the people who motioned it and seconded it, just like we did.
Okay, then I will make a motion to withdraw the approval of the consent agenda.
As previously stated.
Well, as stated.
As stated then, yeah.
Sure, I'll make a motion to withdraw the motion to approve the consent agenda as stated. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. In order, we're still talking about money, so you better do a roll call to make sure that we're staying on top of that.
Okay. I'll use that, I'll use that same criteria here. Clerk Kern, yes. Treasurer Huff,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
Yes.
trustee Detmer,
yes,
supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, that motion carries. I will now make a motion to approve the consent agenda
As amended.
as amended, but it also includes September 10th, September 17th, Work session, board meeting, payroll, payables, June 25th. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve it. Is there any additional discussion on it? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote on that? Please, Clerk Turner.
Okay. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Treasurer Hop,
Yes.
Trustee Monet,
No,
Clerk Kern. Yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes,
Okay. Motion carries 4-1. That was not harder to shoot. Okay, so now we have an agenda. Good Lord. First thing on the agenda is to hear a FOIA request appeal by Phil Robinson. Let me get a couple ducks in a row here. So it has been outlined to me by our attorney how I should go about this. So I'm going to follow that procedure. This FOIA appeal by Mr. Robinson, I numbered it as number 1, 2025. In the appeal hearing, the township FOIA coordinator, myself, will present to the board the full FOIA request, my response, and why you granted or denied the parts that he is appealing. After that, he can speak his mind about a lot of things. So in going through this, it says to present to the board, and I'm going to read it. And thanks to Phil for not making it too long. So the initial FOIA request was from Phil Robinson with his address here, Lyon Township. I will read it. This request is for an accounting of legal expenses accrued by Lyon Township to date for December 2024 and 2025 to date. Specifically, I am requesting a list of billings from the township legal counsel or other attorneys, including the individual requesting consultation, dates and purpose of each billable consultation, and the fee for each billable contact. In addition, please provide a copy of the township board approved budget for legal consultation for this same period. If other fees or retainers are outstanding or payable, that information is also requested. Since this request is straightforward bookkeeping and completely in the public interest, I am also requesting that this information be provided without charge for the benefit of all township constituents who will be provided with the information. So I have read it off to the board. Now I'm going to move to my response. I forwarded your concerns that this should all be free to our attorney. He disagrees. But in either case, he forwarded the legal documents to me at no charge, other than what he might bill us. The budget was always there on the webpage. So no charge this time. If he bills us for his service, there will be no charge to you. I do not consider that to be a precedent setting. It's just the way that this played out. I will not bill you for his work after the fact. In the future, expect to pay his charge before you're granted a FOIA request if it had come from the law firm. So what happened here as a sidebar is when he got the request, he immediately sent the records that he had for the bills. So that part came through reasonably quick, actually. My intention was to say I'm not going to bill you for what he already did. But if it turns out that we have to ask him for something and it costs money, that might happen. So in here is all of the legal documentation that came with that email or the meeting the request that he wanted from the law firm of Bachman Fowle. At that point, an appeal was made by Mr. Robinson. Yes, I'm appealing the response to the FOIA request. The information is not satisfactorily responsive to the described information request. So he was emailed the budget, was emailed the legal or the bills from the attorney's firm, and the attorney explained his rationale for why he would not get the other material that he was asking. And I'll read that response now. This is from the attorney. Regarding your personal notes, he's referring to me. He is incorrect that those must be released under FOIA. If they are your own personal notes, which you do not share with anyone else at the board or read up, they are not covered by FOIA. There have been several court cases on this issue. In particular, if those notes detail our attorney-client privilege conversations, they are also exempt from disclosure for that reason. He can't dodge the privilege by just asking for your notes from our confidential conversations. We have dealt with these types of people. He's not slamming you, he's saying something here. We have dealt with these types of people before who very deeply want to involve themselves in the township government and see every document you see, be in every conversation, etc. But that is not how local government or any government actually works. The people elect representatives, 5 board members, who are responsible for carrying out the will of the electors. If people want to be directly involved, they should run for office. Now, at this point, that concludes. One more thing, I did let Phil know that we would do the appeal tonight. So I have done what I was obligated to do. And you now have the opportunity to state anything you'd like to as far as why you disagree with what the lawyer had decided.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And I won't run over my time.
Oh, I'm sorry, you do have all the time you want. Seriously, he said, make sure he understands there's no time limit on this appeal. You
Really? Oh,
you can do what
I
you
didn't know that. Well. Okay. At last week's public work session, Supervisor Bertrand announced that my appeal of my FOIA request was going to be rejected, based on his opinion and that of the township attorney. This raises a question about why this is even on the agenda today, since it looks like this has been like a foregone conclusion. To summarize this FOIA request again, I have another handout to leave with you. And I left a handout last week too. But I don't know if I have enough all the way around the room, because last time there was only 2 people here. And I didn't know who else was going to show up. So maybe some of you, if you don't mind, if you're with somebody else, want to see with somebody else, you could share. Same one?
Thank you, sir.
I think it's okay if I ask, is this the same one from before or a different one?
This is a different one.
Okay.
Okay. Based on what I've already said here about the announcement that was made last week by the supervisor, this exercise here today seems in some ways like a waste of time. And hopefully it's not an example of how the board, how the practices of this board focus on the opinions of just a few members rather than serving the interests of the community. The FOIA process is meant to promote transparency in government. When that process is canceled by ignoring the purpose of this law, we have to seriously question what else is going on that doesn't serve public interest. Taxpayers have a right to petition township officials for information about how their tax dollars are spent. To deny or to obstruct that process is an effort to cancel and deny the rights of citizens. This approach is unproductive and, in my view, a breach of the public trust. The word freedom is central in the Michigan Freedom of Information Act statute. Those board members who are annoyed by this process and who obstruct that process are denying citizens their freedoms. There seems to be a misguided notion that all consultations with a township lawyer are secret and shielded by attorney-client privilege. I remind the board that the people of Lyon Township are the real clients, not the FOIA administrator. The board's job is to facilitate providing information to the public, not to obstruct it. Today's so-called appeal hearing has already been decided. So why are we here? The conclusion was publicly announced last week by Mr. Bertrand at the board work session. Go watch the video and you can see what I'm talking about. In light of that, my participation in this exercise today is really irrelevant, and it serves no legitimate purpose. So I will leave the board and this small audience with the summary of how this FOIA was dealt with. Future FOIA requests need to follow the law. This is an example how this is not supposed to work. And I find the comments of the attorney, quite frankly, pretty annoying and pretty rude. The township can do better and stop treating FOIAs as a nuisance rather than a lawful right. Board members disagree, and they should find if they do disagree, they should find it work outside the township to pursue personal preferences or insecurities. I'm not sure which it is. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Phil.
I have a question.
Well, hang on, yeah, because the next thing now is if any of the board has questions to Phil. And you might have, well, you might have to,
I'm not going to sit here, since the decision is already made, there's no point in me answering questions, discussing this further. So you can just take it for what it is. Good evening.
certainly your prerogative. Okay.
Are we allowed to make comments?
Good question.
I would,
Hang on a minute, let me look at this. I don't want to skip something.
Yeah.
You're on VC3 now, or you're doing something here
No, we still got stuff to do here.
on the FOIA?
Yeah. The board would be able to ask questions. I would assume that that means the board can make comments. But also, he's gone, but I mean, we're gonna vote on this if there was,
which there should be discussion before we go.
well, do you want to wait for that to have the discussion on the motion?
Well, yeah.
I can give you, well, there's two options here. We can do a motion now and vote, or we don't have to do anything right now. I'm obligated to give him a written answer. We need to vote within 10 days.
Mhm.
I'm obligated to give him a written answer in 10 days. Or before 10 days is over. It had occurred to me that we could say we'd like to digest this, not vote on it right now.
No.
Okay,
I think,
that's one of the.
I think it's an injustice. It's been dragging on for quite some time. I think it's
Okay.
time for this board to take a stand and make a statement.
Okay. In that case,
Just a thought.
no, it's not more than a thought,
Yeah.
you got it. The motions, it's set up to where the board would approve them or not. And then it's like in a progression. So the first motion, and then I will make this motion. I will make the motion to deny the FOIA appeal number 1-2025 for the reasons stated by the FOIA coordinator and direct the FOIA coordinator to provide a written response with the reasons stated on the record in accordance with MCL 15.240. Do we have a second? One more time for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, so for the point of discussion, if anybody wants anything else to say. And I'll say it again, this could fail. It's
So-
just a motion.
This first motion is to deny his appeal.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's one to accept it. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm assuming that's part of it.
Right, but the order is,
All right.
you know, if this doesn't fly, then we move to a different thing.
I just had a question. This is. Well, last Wednesday was the first time hearing about all this. Did we give him what he was asking for or no?
If you're asking me, he asked for all the related material, including the attorney conversations with the attorney, and he's saying you don't get that.
So we didn't give him what he was asking.
What he got was the cut, he wanted the budget, he got that,
And we got Bill,
and we gave him all the bills.
So he got everything except the attorney client.
What our attorney said was attorney-client.
Okay, that's all I needed.
And I will speak now because obviously I'm in a situation, Phil and I are good friends, so that shows you where my vote will be this evening, because I will have to abstain. I will tell you that right now, because there is a direct conflict of interest, because we are very, very good friends. I've been told I can vote. I don't think it's the right thing to do, because many people know how good of friends we are. That being said, I've known of this situation for a very long time. And to Treasurer Hopp's question, no, he wasn't given exactly what he wanted. He got a response that the attorney deemed was appropriate, and I have a few issues with that. I agree with Mr. Robinson that right, wrong, or indifferent, it is up to a FOIA coordinator to understand the rules, procedures, and state guidelines. To bill a citizen because your FOIA coordinator didn't know, maybe or maybe not, what the rules of engagement are, and say you had to call the attorney. Mr. Robinson didn't say go call the attorney. Mr. Bertrand in this case chose to call the attorney. Why should Mr. Robinson ever have to even consider the idea of having to pay that legal bill? It's never been done before. It violates everything that FOIA stands for, in my opinion. And the FOIA coordinator in this office, in this township, should have that information. Since this board decided that the only person that really can keep up with legal and have contact with the attorney is Supervisor Bertrand, common sense would dictate that Supervisor Bertrand and his office and deputies would have all pertinent information contained within this FOIA request, and there'd be absolutely no reason to contact the attorney. Makes sense to me. Therefore, there shouldn't be any billable excuse for that. At the end of the day, I've reached out to my own legal people. I've explained to Mr. Robinson that, yes, there is attorney-client privilege, absolutely. However, there's a caveat in the state law that no matter what Mr. Vila says, that's his opinion. He's the attorney, I'm not, but I have my own people I speak with. If notes are taken that serve a public interest directly related to township affairs, it is subject to a FOIA request. It is not client-attorney privilege if it serves the public interest. Now, some will say that's here and there because it's very easy to get around to say, I didn't take any notes. Throw them away. Who's going to know? So at the end of the day, it is very tricky. And so if you look at Mr. Robinson's items, we promised openness and transparency when we got elected. One of his first items was all billable transactions with the contracted township attorney, including the subject of the consultation, fees billed, and the person requesting the consult, which in most cases would, I'm assuming, be Supervisor Bertrand. Why is that not a public interest? We pay the attorney. Why shouldn't we know? I don't even know I'm a board member. Okay. Number two, he wants a copy of his notes. It's a moot point to me for obvious reasons, excuse me. Number three, the third specific item requested was the township budget for legal expenses. What Mr. Robinson received was pretty much a revenue and expenditure report showing legal fees to date. It was not itemized, per se. And number four, the request that the FOIA be exempted from processing fees. It's a click of the button. I mean, like, even if there's a copying fee, sure, he's good with that. But to deny his appeal, to me, is a disgrace to the process and the due process that we promised when we got voted in concerning openness and transparency. Who cares if we talk to the attorney or if Mr. Bertrand talks to the attorney 50 times a week? But it is your money and your public interest, and that should not be hidden from anyone.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
I have just one additional comment, the same one that I have always said. We hired the best municipal attorney firm that we could. I have said many times, there's no way I touch this stuff without asking the attorney. That's where I send the FOIA requests. That's how it works. I would not even want to think about how this could go if I started making decisions about this stuff that we did not have the legal consultation with. But that being said, I get your point. Any other discussion on the motion as made? Okay, hearing none, I'll repeat it. I will make a motion. And it was seconded by Mr. Hops, is that correct?
Mhm.
To deny the FOIA appeal number 1-2025 for the reasons stated by the FOIA coordinator and direct the FOIA coordinator to provide a written response with the reasons stated on the record in accordance with MCL 15.240. To be safe, let's do a roll call on this.
Absolutely.
If you would, please, Clerk Brown.
Clerk Fern. Yes. Treasurer Hunt.
Yes.
Trustee Detmer.
Yes,
Trustee Monet.
Abstain for the reasons I explained.
Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes. Okay, the motion carries 4-0 with an abstention, correct? Okay, from there, it is up to me to fulfill the obligation and get him an answer in writing in 10 days. Put that to bed. So, back to the agenda. Number 2 on here is you should have a piece of paper that looks like this.
Okay.
Use my readers.
Yeah. That's too far.
That is the latest and greatest that came today. That's one of the reasons you didn't get it earlier. I mean, that we were working on it today. Yeah, this is I want to do a little backstory on this thing. This is the contract proposal, so I'm giving it to you guys now. Take it with you, consider it, read it at your leisure. I don't want to force a vote on this right now. But a couple of things to consider. VC3, we've had a lot of problems with as far as our IT company. This is from Kodiak. We've been working with them. They're giving us this bid. Without looking at it and trying to add approximate number, about $11,000 a year. And that would include the onboarding, which they have to come here for about a week and work with all their computers. VC3, so when you add everything they had, it's probably about $8,000. So Kodiak is more money, but VC3 they were not counting our computers right. They were charging us for 8 when we had like pushing 14. So what we're trying to avoid here is ending up in a situation where they're saying, wait a minute, we should have charged you more for several years. According to Kodiak, he's saying he doesn't think they can go back that far. So those are 2 issues and we're trying to get over it. Now today, Microsoft came out and said, Windows 10, no more. won't support it. I think every computer but one or two here is Windows 10. So we talked with Kodiak again about, so if we do this, would you be able to come in then and do all of it, what needs to do with Windows 10? And this could potentially include a patch for a while, but you're looking at, we gotta maybe upgrade all our computers. I mean, like buy new computers within a year. I do not trust VC3 to come in here and do anything. We've had so many problems with that. So I'm giving this to you now because a lot of it just happened today. Again, a little bird told me we might have a special meeting here reasonably soon. I would then make a motion that we do approve switching, and they need a lead-in time of at least 2 weeks. We're kind of kicking around shooting for like mid-November, something like that. VC3's contract runs out at the end of December. Technically, we would eat it on the last month of the VC3 contract. I'd much rather do that, wash our hands of those people. I don't want them in here doing anything. So this is for your reading pleasure. I don't think I want to do a motion tonight. It's just, we have a little bit of time, but not a lot. Our firewalls will be down, the no Windows 10 thing. We obviously have to do something pretty quick before somebody could potentially get into our whole township system. So there's some food for thought for you. If anybody got any comments or, like I said, it's a lot. You can always send me an email later if there's something that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions on that? Okay.
I would just like to say for the record, I don't know what it is. VC3 doesn't like me. I am locked out of my trustee account again. It seems to happen quite frequently, and it won't even take my password now, so I have to contact them and spend God only knows how much time on the phone again, getting it reset. So
It's a regular thing. Like every 3 weeks, something, it's almost like it's pre-planned.
So not that anyone's emailed me. If you have, I'm sorry, I can't get in. I can't see anything since September 23rd, month now almost. So
If it's any consolation, other townships who got rid of VC3 and went to Kodiak are very, very happy.
yeah, just food for thought.
I will say Timothy's situation is not alone. We've had at least 3 or 4 people through our office that not getting.
Good. That means I just don't have bad juju, so I like it.
Yeah, we've had many complaints.
Ugh.
Okay,
Alright.
we're bordering on that.
Yeah.
That appeal took forever.
Yep.
Okay, so that's informational. Item 3, could we get a timestamp on that, please? Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, this is to discuss the Roscommon Township Associated meeting in the Northern Michigan Children's Assessments. On a list of material, there is material on the table. You also have a blue thing in your packet about Michigan's assessment center. Basically, they took over what used to be the youth detention center, and they're doing a great job. At one point, Clerk Fern, you were wondering about maybe trying to get them in and do a presentation. I have no problem with that. I'm just throwing the material out there, and it's for anybody in to take it. I've worked with kids for 25 years. This is the best thing come down the pipe in 25 years. They're doing all the right things in one place for several counties.
Very cool.
It is cool.
Yep.
I would say at the Roscommon Township Association meeting, which I attended, and Paul was there and Courtney was there, we were very impressed by what this lady has said, what she's accomplished, and what she intends to do. We definitely need her at one of our meetings to speak to all these people for these disadvantaged kids. There's many, many avenues to go down, but she knows them all. And I think that'd be wise for us to schedule her.
We can do that. One of the things on here is also a way that you can donate money through payroll deductions. This is a huge thing. It has always been scattered. This is a good thing. So they're over there on the tables. If anybody wants to grab it. Second part being to talk about the Township Association meeting. Main thing coming out of that, Economic Development Committee, that is Ray I don't even want to try and pronounce his last name, from Richfield Township, and Amanda Wachinski, our grant writer, is also working with them. The other part being a shared county compost equipment. It's kind of coming down the pipe. That would be great if the county got involved and the townships that have compost site would have shared use of a trailer, front end loader, and sifting machine. That solves a lot of our problems. So I'm on it. I'm on it. Any questions on any of that? Hope not. Okay, give me another timestamp, because this might take time. Okay, GLUA. I'm gonna defer it all to trustee Monet.
Still the only one.
Well,
Well, okay.
here you go.
Um, at a special meeting last night, and there were 5 out of the 6 of us there. Brian Cook decided it would not be in his best interest to show up because he did not agree with what pretty much we figured was going to happen. So very quick, short meeting. GLUA passed a resolution to instruct both boards at this point in time. It is time to formally dissolve GLUA and remove/excuse all of the GLUA board members, while at the same time keeping Phil Check as treasurer on board to do his duty to make sure the bank balance is brought down to 0. And real quick, so last night it came up, and this has been a point of contention for a lot of people. You cannot, sorry, Paul, if you have to hear this again. You cannot close out GLUA if the bank balance isn't 0. That's not what the articles of incorporation say. They said you cannot close it out if there's an impairment to obligation, contracts, or grants. The only thing outstanding is $9,000 in checks out of almost $54,000 in checks that GLUA chose to give back to donors. There was never an obligation. So therefore, we already know it's not a grant. We know it's not a legal contract. Those checks are nothing more than a negotiable interest instrument with a quote unquote informal contract with the lending institution, but there's no contract or obligation with the donors per se, because they don't have to cash those checks. Well, if you can't create an obligation, you can't create a contract. Therefore, there can't be an impairment. So we don't have to wait till it goes down to 0. So we will, that's I think why he's been saying that a little birdie said there'll be a special meeting very soon to have a formal resolution to, make it official that we have done our duty. We are moving on, and it is time.
Let's do this meeting tomorrow.
Well, I started working on it last night but it got too late. So
That and a couple other things that we can probably knock off within 10 days.
did I cover it up?
Somewhere. Yep.
All right.
It's done. So it is officially done, other than the paperwork to seal it off.
Yep.
Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, we will move on. Number 5, future plans update on a park inspection by the Township Insurance Company Risk Assessor and porta potty placement, which we'll leave out. Bottom line, you should all have one of these. It says immediate on the top.
Yep.
Okay. This is his report. I have an X on there. It says X equals count. God bless America. These are now all the new things that we are responsible for within our parks. And it is all lowered. So he did a report, but then there's also other material with checklists. We are going to have to move forward with monthly, none of this is bad, but time consuming, monthly inspections. And an emphasis on our playground safety is going to have to start coming into play here, and then run that concurrently with the budget. You know, how much money do we have to play with? So another one of those things where take it with you in the immediate sense. There were complaints about not being able to get wheelchairs through the sand that was put at Park 27. The inspector and I walked all through that, and we came up with a way to clear a path. There'll be a no parking. There's a handicap parking sign there already. There'll be a path to the left and right of the pavilion that is back to hard dirt. So you can get a wheelchair around that. One goes to the edge of one swing set. The other goes to the other end of the other swing set. then come back around and actually, you could enter it from the lakeside too. So there are two paths now that a wheelchair could go. On both of those swing sets, the inside swing is going to have an ADA accessible mat under it. So that you can get the wheelchair there, then you can get the wheelchair on the mat. Some logistical problems are, we are also responsible to always push the fall sand back in. You can't leave it out. So we're looking right now at ordering the mats and then looking at how do we attach them how do we attach them? Number one, to make sure they're safe for like a kid hitting however you attach it. Second, that nobody steals. So we're there. There are many other things we're gonna have to do, and as he described, at the point he's made me aware of this, I'm aware. We have to
Come up with something.
Yeah, we're already on that. Well, so we can't really do anything till we get those mats. And then we have to step up our game going forward. Simple. And that's fine. We probably should.
Did say one thing that I have a little issue with, you said Park 27.
Sam's
said, yeah.
Well, he's got Park 27's good focus too.
Yeah, Sam was
Trust
a big deal.
All gonna come down to money and how fast we want to spend it. As long as we are making progress, we're good. Any questions from the board on this? Again, you can go look at it. I got tons more checklists, all kinds of stuff. Good stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Okay.
I do have, excuse me, one real quick, one question. Does this, on the surface, it obviously makes sense, but does this directly pretty much answer Diane Nellis's concerns? It sounds like it does.
It answers it in relation to the swing sets.
Okay,
And we'll see. If more complaints come about different things, there's only so much you can do in an old place like that. And I asked Amanda's checking on this. He told me, if that park's over 20 years old and you start upgrading, major renovation, you gotta do the whole thing.
Right.
What? $600,000-$700,000 later.
Right. And you are correct. I've already researched this quite a bit. Yeah. If you don't do anything, you're under the guidance pretty much of the 1991 ADA guidelines with some caveats built into the 2010, I think, guidelines. But if you start doing and you do too much, then you must bring everything current. And the
Yeah.
1991 guidelines are out the door and you're all in.
Yeah, and he's only,
Yeah.
like he said,
Yeah.
you're making progress. You are now aware that you are making progress.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. Okay, moving forward from there. Could I get another timestamp, please? This is an update on the security cameras on the ice rink grants related to the timetable that we're on for these things. There is a grant request in now to get help with a security camera that we were talking about putting at the compost site to look inward at the recycle bins. And also a request in to get the liner paid for the ice rink. I believe that the camera one is 3 months out for an answer. The ice rink grant is 2 to 3 weeks. So making you aware, we're gonna do an ice rink. We're waiting to see how much of this we can kind of get for free. Markey Township and our township maintenance departments talked, and they will do some mutual support in putting theirs up and putting ours up. Which is a great group.
I certainly hope that we don't need the ice rink in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm kind of used to the 70 degrees here. I like that.
Okay, so that's more of an update on where it stands with grants. Okay, number 7. There are 2 things here, a discussion on the budget and then an overall fund balances is down below. I want to switch that because it's going to make more sense if we do the overall fund balance first. In the fund balance, Pam and I went through them all. I'm just going to read this off. This isn't a scare tactic or anything like that. I wanted to know where we're at, more than halfway through the fiscal year. Parks and Rec, the treasurer's department, the assessor, and town hall control. And as Kevin has already stated, there's money coming in. We don't know that these numbers are sticking. All of those are looking a little wonky right now. Where more has gone out at a halfway point. I'm sure there's money coming in, but the point is, we better figure out if money's coming in. The roads were okay, the road fund, training fund was okay, the building fund was okay. The trash, as always, is wonky. And that's coming up next to, and also there's money coming in for that. Fire equipment fund. There was no money even listed in BSNA for any allocations. We're like, okay, we better figure out what's going on. And the fire department fund was a little bit wonky. Again, it's not a huge alarm. And the ambulance fund too. For example, ambulance, we're about 139 budgeted. We've gone through 83 of it, but there's going to be more money coming in. But at a halfway point, better start paying attention. So we are going to start paying attention. So that is information to you guys on why further on in here, Pam is going to need access to some stuff. So back to number 2 is the trash fund balances and the 10% SAD increase. I sent a letter to all of you or put it in your mailboxes. I know this did not pass last week. I put it out again with better I don't think I did a good job explaining it last week. We took a $222,000 hit in 203. The contract with American Waste, you know how we were hearing it was the contract was there was no rise in increase. Why is it going up? That's not what happened. The contract, we couldn't pay for it all at once. So they said, we'll charge you less now. And then we're going to really nail your butt in the last 3 years. So none of that's true. It didn't start out. It was never really intended to be, nothing's going to happen. We have been getting that 10% increase to keep up with, as Tyler found in the audit for that 2003, whatever happened. We have been playing catch up with that ever since, every year since 2018, the 10% have been applied and we're still not catching it. Now we are getting closer. I would admit that. The 10% increase has been working towards decreasing that deficit, or we'd be in a lot worse shape. So at the end of March, it was still at about 77. Again, money's coming in, money's going out. Me personally, the 10%, we're not raising taxes. We are continuing a process that allowed us to have an operating trash fund for all this time. I don't even want to get into the 222. I have some suspicions. That's all they are. I don't know what happened, but it happened. And we've been paying for it ever since. So what I'm going to do is make a motion and we'll let it roll for more conversation or input, but that's why I sent that letter out. I'll make a motion that we approve the allowed yearly 10% increase in the winter trash fund assessment. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second for discussion purposes.
Okay, so any further discussion from you guys? That's pretty much my piece on the whole thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of muddled stuff on this that's, you can't read with it. All I want to know is I've talked to quite a few residents about this. I mean, and pretty much everyone's under the general consensus. If you don't finish shoring it up, when are you going to? If you don't do it now, it's just going to keep on growing and growing and growing. So what does that mean? So all I want to know from whether it's Kevin, if you have the information, Paul, or Supervisor Paul, Worthman.
Don't ask me anything, huh?
Yeah, no. What is the bottom dollar? Because that's what residents have asked, that people are going to pay extra per month. If we approve this 10%.
You don't pay per month, pay per year.
I know, but you can always take a number and divide it by
Gonna
12.
be 20 and 10% is $21 a year.
Right, and just divide by 12. That's what people want to know. Yeah, that's simple math. Thank you.
See, my whole thing on this is, we just found they were overcharging us by 80 people. 80 people for all these years. This is how it got into the mess. So now we've corrected that. And like I said, I want to go back and collect that money, and it works out to $1,500, $1,325 a month. So if we go back to GFL saying, you guys owe us this, I don't expect them to go back from day one, but I do expect them to go back from when we took office. So at least to December. So now our trash bill, the trash bill pays, the assessment pays for the trash. What it doesn't pay for is the compost. So it's close, but I mean, I'm just reluctant to raise it. I think now that we've found this issue, let's give it, my opinion is give it another year where we're at, with this new bit, with the new pricing in there.
The only thing, I appreciate all your work, because you've been working your ass off on this. Again, similar to the attorney, the auditor said, it's okay to have a cushion, because this whole thing is jumping all over all the time.
Well, how did overcharging 80 people create a shortfall? That's what I just heard.
Because we were they were charged for 2,401 residents. We were collecting 2,321. So, well, of course, we're short right out of the gate. So we were only getting paid by 2,321 residents. They were charging for 2,400 a month.
They use the old companies now.
They used
Okay.
numbers from God knows when, years ago, and it's never changed since. And we asked them, have you never sat down with anybody? Actually, we went through the list of people. So that's how we discovered there's 80 people.
Okay, but that sounds like it's gonna be a fight to get that money back. I mean, we're talking about, I know everyone hates increases. I mean, I get it. It's $1.75 a month. I would rather invest $1.75 a month to keep this going and keep the balance coming down while that gets taken care of. Because then the point in time may come, because we are within our rights to increase 10%, then maybe the years will come when we don't have to do anything if that money can be shored up. But at least at $1.75 a month, I don't know.
Oh, and just so you know, there is no increase in 2026.
There isn't?
No,
Why not?
that's part of the contract. 2025 stays at 1657 a person. 2026 stays at 1570.
Yeah, see,
Well, that's
again,
done by resolution. That's not done by the
No,
trash.
this is the trash company.
They can't tell us.
well,
What do
the
you mean they
contract,
can't tell us? The contract with them.
Oh, I understand that. I understand, but they can't tell us whether we can raise 10% or not.
No, they're not raising their price to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, but now if we want to raise, that's
Yeah.
a plus. I'm just, we would like to see us go one more year, but like you said, we can vote on it.
to me, that if we get, I don't see it as a it is a continuation of something for something that we had nothing to do with.
Right.
And if we don't do it, it could be a problem. If we do it, maybe it less the problem. To me, if we do it and then we're fighting and get additional money, great. Maybe we come out of this at a zero balance by next year. We can get some of that money
I
back.
think that's.
Yeah.
Paper thing,
Yes.
but.
So I think they will lawyer up and
They just, with the basic conversation, they said, okay, we'll go back to September. But now it's like, well, wait a minute, let's go back to December.
about 10 years ago.
Like I
Well,
said, we weren't here then, so there's
I
no.
don't even know why they got to the 222.
Okay, so if there, any other discussion, I mean, basically, we're gonna do it or we're not, I guess, so.
I just want to say one final thing. I just read something recently and I really liked it. It was sent to me by another township and something they kind of live by and something that, and it's not meant to be disrespectful or anything to the people, but it's kind of true that townships were not designed to do good. Unfortunately, and I know that sounds harsh, townships were designed to keep systems operating, take care of your people, take care of essential services, there's plenty of organizations out there that quote unquote, in the grandest scheme of things, that do the good. So at times, and they were talking about this, you have to increase certain things, even if it's just $1 a month, to make those essential services work. You have to sometimes shore up differences. I mean, it's just the way it is sometimes. So anyway, it's not that we're not doing good. That's not the whole idea. The whole idea is that we're not supposed to be do-gooders, basically. So.
Yeah, we all ran and at least I did, and I think a couple others, we don't intend to raise taxes all the time just at a whim.
We can't raise taxes.
Well, this isn't a tax, so there.
No, I mean, the cost,
Yes.
the cost factor, we were gonna try and be fiscally responsible. I think we, that's actually. But this thing is kind of a whole nother critter. When, I've been wondering about this, and when Tyler found out where this all started, I'm like, geez, how many boards have there been since 2003?
Right.
And he said, they've been paying this stuff. He said, I don't even know that they know they were doing it.
Right.
Well, we finally found out what the problem is, and now we know what we're doing.
I mean, we just be passing the buck.
The township was being shown $16,000 a year over and above what they should.
Right.
For how many years? I don't know, but that's why the number is where it is. All I'm saying is it's easy to just levy an increase on somebody. It's harder to dig into this, to make some cuts and find.
I say we still dig for it.
What I was talking about was 2003, we took a $222,000 hit. We've been trying to pay that back ever since.
I don't know.
It's not because they charged too many people. Something happened.
Yeah, something.
Awesome.
Yep.
Don't even want to get into the how.
Yep.
Well, anyways, the 10% increase sounded scary to me to begin with. But that rotten Timothy had to bring up, it's not even $2 a month. Now that made me say, wait a minute, if we can go down another 35,000 a year by putting that 10% in, 2.5 years, we're done with this damn thing.
Yeah.
Unless Kevin can.
Until the garbage company raises their price and then we're just gonna keep.
Well, that's I know that.
Yeah, but then maybe at that time, if it's paid down, we'll have a contract that we will be collecting exactly what we owe as opposed to like having to shore up a shortfall.
Okay, let's, in final comments, let's pull it back together and make something happen.
Right.
I don't have anything else.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll restate it. I made motion, we approve the allowed yearly 10% increase in the winter trash fund assessment. It was seconded by Mr. Monet. Could we have a roll call, please, Clerk Byrne?
Sure. Treasurer Hobbs,
Nope.
Trustee Monet,
Yay.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Clerk Pern, no. Trustee Detmer,
No,
Okay, motion fails. 2 to 3. Okay, moving right along. Better do another timestamp there so we can find this stuff later. Further discussion on the Higgins Lake SAD in relation to the lake levels and the dam in Garrish Township. I have nothing for the board. Timothy probably has some stuff. I just wanted to say, I went to the commissioners meeting about a month ago. And I made these statements that special interests, personal agendas and money basically can lead on a SAD, a special assessment district. And, the intent is to reach into the resident's pocket with no vote. But a SAD, a special assessment district, needs a crisis. Manufactured is certainly acceptable in order to rob the residents or rob Peter to pay Paul. The people who want this special assessment district are doing that. The thing is, if you rob Peter to pay Paul, that's generally acceptable to Paul, but Peter doesn't have a vote. Mark Twain said that there's, politicians and diapers need to be changed often for the same reason. I don't think they appreciated my comments, but it's the same thing as that sewer was. If you create a crisis, or manufacture one, I'm not buying it. I do not see the crisis in this. At that, I will stop.
Did we send in a
Letter
opposition?
No, I did it personally, not as a supervisor. And have had a running conversation with them. They want to appoint a different board, advisory board. Have two people from the SAD, and we have no voice in who those two people are, and I'm not buying that at all. They can do it, but I'm not.
How can that work out for us?
Doesn't, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so as requested at our work session, I've been spending the last week, you talked about this, Kevin, I'm gonna move it along. I'm not gonna read all this, I promise. Yeah, I wish I were involved much sooner. There are a lot of promises. So Kevin, to your point, first of all, the law requires that, and I have reached out to you guys about this, that we get notification for the assessment, how we're getting assessed and otherwise, and we don't seem to be able to find that information. I don't believe for a minute that the county just overlooked us and didn't send that to us. We will have to get into their system or ask them.
Nothing.
Okay, that's fine. That being said, Garish has been on top of this. And on August 29th, 25, they sent a letter to the Roscommon County Board of Commissioners, and I have all the correspondence asking questions about this. So I'm going to read some of this just so you can understand it. This is to Chairman Censor, or Chairperson Censor. As you may be aware, at our August 6th public information meeting regarding the lake level assessments, the county received an overwhelming number of requests from property owners to reconsider how we were treating public road ends due to their high level of use. In an effort to ensure that the special assessment methodology reflects a fair representation of those who benefit from the lake level, the county determined that the appropriate course of action was to increase the percentage of each township's at-large assessment to allocate a higher amount of the total assessment to the road ends in each township. I found the amounts on their website because we don't have any record of it. And we are not at 11%. I appreciate Chair Censor's response in the calculation. However, missing from the discussion is the issue of ownership of the road ends in Garish Township, and this will apply to Lyon Township, and its tax burden designation by Roscommon County. Also, a question exists in how the road end property will benefit in any way by the lake's control structure, because even if it was owned by the township, which it does not own the road ends, simply put, the public's access does not get better or worse if the lake level is higher or lower. It remains the same. Also, there can be no increase in value, as the Supreme Court reiterated in 1986, the only justification in their subsequent rulings for a special assessment, even in a township, is an increase in property's market value. Now, if the Board of Commissioners are using road ends like they're doing in Garrison, they will be using in Lyon Township. We don't own the road ends. So where is the increase in value for lands we do not own? Finally, I believe that the basis of the allocation was arbitrary, as the perceived high level of use of road ends by the public is primarily contained in the months of June, July, and August, or 25% of the year. Notwithstanding, because Garish Township is not the owner of any road ends in question, exclusively or otherwise, the methodology used to charge a direct or at-large assessment upon the township when it does not own any interest in the road ends was flawed. There may be other arguments available, including Michigan Attorney General opinion number 7042, which I have a copy of it here, which provides government-owned lands are impliedly exempt from special assessments unless the act under which the assessment is made expressly subjects them to the assessment. They're using Part 307 of the, what is it right here? Inland waters, lake laws. Now, this is 742 was an opinion from Jennifer Granholm when she was Attorney General, and it had to do with lands exempted. Well, it says right here, you asked whether the lands exempted from an ad valorem real property tax under the General Property Tax Act are therefore or thereby exempted from special assessments made under the Township Police and Fire Department Act. Now, while this doesn't have anything to do with the lake levels, she goes on to say in here, based on statute, that the same thing, and this has been covered in People versus Ingalls, coolie taxation, that once again, this act, however, does not contain any express exemptions referring to the general property tax, but nevertheless and therefore, federal and state-owned lands, as well as lands owned by local units of government, are impliedly exempt from special assessments unless the act under which the assessment is made expressly subjects them to the assessment based on that increased benefit. 307 doesn't do that. What it says is that political subdivisions can be assessed. Well, I've been doing a ton of research on what's been going on at Four Lakes, and it's an amazing difference of how they've rolled out their assessment. So I also have a question this board needs to consider. Is this an operations and maintenance assessment? Is this a capital improvement assessment? No one seems to know. So without going any further, because we're on a time crunch here, this board, I would believe, should pass a motion immediately to instruct our attorney to look into this, because I do believe the window for appeal may have been closed or may be closed, but I think it's very important that we take a stand here tonight.
What about joining Garish? Was there any offer from them at all?
There was not an offer. It's just been tossed around by community member residents that it would have made a real impact if Lyon Township would have joined them at the time, because they have filed, by the way, they have filed an appeal. And I think you're shaking your head, you know it, yeah. And rightfully so, based on what they have dug up and passed in their resolution.
I agree, let's do something.
Yeah, I think we should instruct the law firm to definitely look into this. I think we should take a stand, because now real quick, just so you guys know, and Paul handed me this information, and that's great. In 2023, the prior board passed a resolution. I don't know the number right offhand,
I saw
but it was only to not support the creation of an SAD. We need a resolution now objecting to the actual formation of the SAD and the fact that we're going to be charged our first year with no, by the way, no project on the table, no concrete, line items of what the project will be.
This is for lawyers and stuff, I heard.
Yeah, this is for legal and the setup, start and fees. We are at $21,569.02. $3,000 more than Garish, by the way.
Huh.
Yep.
It's gonna be funny when they don't get their check because there's no, we don't have
So-
a budget plus.
Okay, this also puts us in, they can tag us 10% every year, no questions asked.
They will tag us 10%.
I don't have a problem doing it. I wonder if I should ask him to talk to Scott House
Sure.
about drafting language that they're okay with, Hannah.
We should
Yeah.
ask the lawyer or the legal.
Right, but not a motion here, but I can ask him to figure out what he wants to do, because him and Scott, I've been talking about other stuff.
Well, if it's okay with you, as a sign of solidarity, I would request a formal motion that the board votes on, that we all are requesting the law firm to draft a resolution to show our objection.
Make it.
Okay, I'd like to entertain, or no, I'm not gonna entertain. I'm gonna make a motion that this board pass a motion to address the concerns of the lake level assessment and instruct the township attorney, Michael Bila, to draft a resolution stating our objection to the current,
Boy, you're a wordy guy.
oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, that's at the, oh, yeah.
Give me.
To the current SAD and the amount we're going to be charged for the at-large assessment. Done. There's the motion.
I'll second it. You don't like?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure I did.
Yeah, I'll second it. So there is a second. Is there any further board discussion on it? Hearing none. Certainly got money in there somewhere. How about a roll call, please?
Okay, trustee Monet,
Yay.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
treasurer Hop,
Yes.
clerk Burns, yes. Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. I will get a hold of Mr. Beal. Mr. Beal is on vacation, but is still answering his phone. As far as when he can do any paperwork, I don't know, but I'm sure he could talk to Scott House. I'm sure they're becoming fast buddies.
Yeah.
Okay,
Number 9.
yeah, I know where it is. Give me a timestamp again. Thank you. So this was, I'm sorry, fire department, there was a meeting to discuss some things about the fire department, and Clerk Kern, wanted to put it on the agenda, rightfully so, so it is there. There's no necessary motion, but, take it away, Clerk Kern.
Okay, well, Kevin and I met with Gail and JC last week, and we had some issues, and I think what triggered the issues were the 50 calls that we couldn't make. This just got me upset the last time we talked. We brought this up at the work session, and I said, how often does this happen? And it frequently happens. We don't have enough people. So he had come up with something in July, and we talked about that, and we, due to our own inactivity, or maybe just mine, I don't know, but I didn't bring it up again, and too many other issues came up. But now we have a couple of things in place, and I've given you all papers about it. But the first thing here that we have is we're going to have or try to get the two EMS people were going to be on call for the weekends, guaranteed. And the time is gonna be a little different than we thought. We talked about 5 o'clock on Friday to 5 o'clock on Sunday. But after talking to the two people that knew more about when the runs happen, they suggested we go to 0700 on Friday to roughly 1900 hours. 1900 hours. But I've moved that too. I've changed that to a little bit less, 1 hour less, as a matter of fact, from 0900. Well, no, that's the Monday through Friday. The pay for those two to stay, it's gonna be about 36 hours times two people, but that's $720 for that weekend, or those weekend days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, till a certain time. And it looks like it, I have it here somewhere. Okay, that's, and then we have coverage during the week. Now, this is just a proposal, number one. And this is only going to be in effect until our recruitment drive has successfully jacked up the numbers on both fire and EMS, which we hope is going to happen fairly soon. But the hours for an EMT, an emergency tech, and an emergency responder for 2 days a week from 9 to 5, 8 hours for each one of them, 576. That's for one team. That would be perhaps a Monday, Wednesday, and then a Tuesday, Thursday, the same hours, 19 to 1700, 8 hours apiece. And we have it a pretty good authority. I've heard it from 3 or 4 people now. They won't work for less than 8 hours. We had thought maybe a 5-hour day, 5 days a week, but this seems better, and there's already some people willing to do this from what we heard. Some as close as St. Helens and Roscommon. The total cost for this week of coverage, so we can almost guarantee we're not gonna miss any runs. And I'll explain that more in a little bit, but that's a little less than $1,900 for the coverage for the week, so we don't miss any. Right now, every run we miss that somebody else takes, we pay for. We have to pay them to do our runs. And that means we've got no money coming in. And in a minute, we're gonna ask some of them what we have to do.
Yeah.
Have we done okay so far, you two?
If you're, we, the township won't pay,
The resident has to pay.
we don't charge our residents.
Right.
Yeah,
So the residents will go from, let's say, I'll use an example, nation,
right.
$400 bill, insurance tax, and over $1,000.
But the calls you turn over, Paul has to,
Right.
yeah, right. And on the millage that the fire department has, it's based on 16 the people.
Yeah.
So this is, to me, I'm like, let's vote now. I'm ready to vote on
It,
this.
it seems like,
Let's
it
get
seems
this
that
vote on.
the cut and dry benefit for the township. That's the way I'm looking at it.
For one fire call costs $1,000.
Yeah,
$1.
Mhm.
I mean, I think this is like, it's gonna become serious, like, we're missing, residents don't have coverage on weekends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. You got more to go through before,
Not really,
okay.
not really. You got figures in front of you.
Well, I got figures, but I do not.
There's questions?
Well, at our meeting on 9/26, we're only the three of us were there. You guys weren't because we had a meeting to approve the millages. We were talking then about doing the recruiting drive, discussing it, including the benefits like vision, dental, and life insurance. At our last special meeting, oh no, okay, so we were talking about doing that and doing a recruitment problem or a recruitment program and realized that we had a problem that we as a board needed to get involved in because the previous fire department recruiting drew a couple people, but we needed to really up our game.
Mhm.
So we have now been in contact with an insurance company who may be able to supply some insurance benefits to the fire department. But we don't know that yet. Okay, I went through previous, Lake Township's got 18 firefighters, Roscommon 17, Higgins 24, Denton 17, Richfield 25. I don't know that I got a problem with any of this. I got a problem with, I think it's the cart before the horse. And I'll say why. We miss these calls, but they are covered through mutual aid. If it takes a couple minutes longer for an ambulance from a different township to get here, just a minute. To me, the solution is we need to do the drive and get more bodies in. If you want to try and propose this as something that is a stopgap, I can probably live with something like that. To me, our main focus is we have to do what has not been done before to try and attract people from this township. And if that fails, I mean, if we can't muster a run, if we can't have enough people, and it's not their fault, they're all great people. But if we can't roll, we need more people. So my only disagreement, besides the money's not there, and the package to offer the firefighters and the recruiting is not in place yet, is that to me, it's the cart before the horse. If you need an ambulance, somebody's coming. Yes, 2 minutes later, maybe. Now, to me, that still means we're on mutual aid. It's the same for the fires. We're just not getting there. So the work part to me means we need to have about twice as many people. But
Doesn't it make sense that we have people in place and our residents in our communities taken care of while we're waiting to see if there's something out there, if we can get more recruits?
At
I
the,
mean,
at the amount of money that this is, when we actually have a mutual aid thing, I don't know.
And can we go back to?
well, I don't think lives have a price, so
This
that's
proposal is
true.
temporary.
not just a comment, just.
I'd like to make a motion right now that we implement this program.
Not until you can tell me the total cost.
I'm not telling you anything. I'm making a motion
All right, go ahead.
to implement this cost. It looks like $1,872 per week. Until we can get enough people in our recruitment drive to take over this. I think we probably need 10 each, myself, somewhere around between the 17 and 20 figures that we heard that some of these surrounding people have. But, so if I've made a motion to do this, okay, I have a second from Hops. Discussion is open.
I don't have anything else.
Oh, actually, not Bill.
Sure.
All right, so you're all into this recruit. Answer me one question. Where does 55% Lyon Township go?
Florida,
Thank you.
And that's what we had talked about before. We were never offering a benefit package. We were never offering, are you gonna let me answer you or not? We never offered an incentive package. We never offered a bonus to sign up. We never offered prorate bonus for people already there. We've done none of that. If we do that, we may be able to get some people.
That's about,
You're retirement.
Okay?
What people you gonna get?
Listen, if we have a difference of opinion, it's not like you're gonna convince me.
Right.
I'm just telling you what, that's where I'm at.
There, this is a discussion.
Yeah, I have a question. Is this ready to roll?
If I can get it done, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
We have more discussion?
Getting the incentive. If partners here first, then we gotta pay for. Okay,
I don't know.
here, then for classes,
What's going on out here?
the other academy.
We're talking about this. We're not talking to the public.
She is making a comment. What we had talked about before had to do with the fact that if we tried to do a recruitment drive and the training over winter, that was one of the options.
I can see the incentive. That's what we call it, make it, so we're not sign up. Stay. They come to train me.
And so, people aren't here.
There's a motion on the floor that has a second. You've had
Yeah.
discussion.
I have second.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if they're on call, excuse me. Oh. I like the idea. If they're on call and they don't show up, they forfeit the pay. If they're on call and they can't make it for any reason, they have to find their coverage for that position. I think it's pretty, yeah, I mean, you know, no show, no pay.
that's about,
All right, it's your motion, run it where you wanna go.
Okay, let's go to the question then. You want to vote, roll call, right?
Well, you're making the motion, you got a second already. Okay,
It's,
Yeah, we implement this.
I
roll call.
yeah, I thought he was, can't he
Yeah.
just that?
What am I doing incorrectly?
No, yeah, of course,
Okay. Well, let's do a roll call, then.
right? Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Yes. Treasurer Hobbs,
Yes.
Supervisor Bertrand,
No,
Trustee Monet,
Yay.
Trustee Detmer,
yes.
passes 4-1.
okay. We get that right. Okay. We skipping anything there? I don't think so.
Yep, number 10.
Okay, so number 10, can we get a timestamp again, please? 212, good lord. This has got to do with the minutes and the publication in the paper. I don't know, we have tried many things to try and get the minutes, done. And none of them are really, it's still a sort of a problem. I still have 813, 823, 829 on my desk that have a whole bunch of corrections that need to be made. I haven't moved on it yet because I wanted to throw a couple things out there to see if it would maybe help. One of them is using the timestamps so that if the clerk's office is trying to figure out where things were and get accurate information on it, we would have some timestamps related to each motion at least, if not each section. The other thing is it's turning into this thing between Clerk Kern and myself. I read them, he makes them, I read them. We don't hear anything from you guys. I think it's imperative, like you wanna, read them before you vote on any consent agenda, for sure. I'm gonna throw out there that we do something where when he makes a draft or the clerk's office makes a draft, that he emails it to everybody with a read receipt. That puts everybody on the spot. You better look at it and make up your mind if that's what you think happened at that meeting. And the video is gonna be posted. Anybody can go to the video, anybody can find the timestamp if they have questions. But I would really like to get away from Clerk Pern and I having this constant thing going on where we're not getting the input. And you are correct, it probably doesn't get to you in time. But my suggestion is do the timestamps and do read receipts on the drafts and get you guys involved.
Well, if I can comment, I will say for the record, probably maybe one of the reasons I don't have a comment, the statutory requirement says that that the clerk shall put together the minutes. It says nothing about getting prior approval from any of the other board members until it comes to us in our board packet. So I don't know how I feel about that right this second, when,
Well, if he puts together a draft,
yeah, but
Well,
there's a
okay.
reason why he's a clerk and,
Okay.
and
The attorney has told me before, if I give each one of you those things, I'm in violation of the open.
yeah, I
meeting
mean,
act.
you are the clerk. Your job to put the minutes together and let it roll, and if there's a correction, we know what to do.
Mhm.
okay,
As far as the publication in the paper, we get a synopsis,
oh, yeah,
and boy, that is so small.
I don't know what happened here. We were dealing with too much material, trying to cut it down. This is the last one. We've gone too far in the other direction. There is no information about what we did. And I don't even know how that happened or who put it in the paper. My suggestion is that we go back to listing the motions that we made, no opinions. You don't have to put anything in there about public comment. That has nothing but references minutes. And I don't think we should be putting it in the paper. This does not include we had the caveat of, not, it needs to be subject to board approval. That's not on there.
Doesn't even have the website to say where to find the minutes.
Well, some of them aren't there. because they're-
No, I know that. Yeah.
Okay. So somehow we left from too much to, in my opinion, too little. This kind of stuff to me makes it look like we're hiding things. I can almost live with too much now.
I don't like too much.
So I'm gonna suggest that we go back. Again, their timestamp, make sure the motions at least are in the minutes. And if, I get what you're saying, if they have to come to all of us and correct it at a meeting. Okay,
I've got mine every month. It drops them off. I read them. I'm good.
Put them in their boxes too.
well, that's the thing, if that's
Illegal.
illegal, yeah, if that's illegal.
Right.
The thing is. If you read it, you're okay with what's in. On the example earlier, well, not earlier, that was. For papers. Okay, I'm just trying, I'm still fishing for ways that work
Yeah.
more efficient.
That's why I caught that one
Yeah.
with the payroll.
So, yeah, we're here, video available. Timestamp should help you zero in on something if it's a question. That's about, well, other than. I suspect it won't be that hard to go back to trying to make sure the motions are in the newspaper stuff. Keep working on it, I guess. Okay, the last agenda item was the ordinance officer discussion. I will say before we start that,
Deputy Scott, BSNA.
they skip it.
Definitely, Scott.
I have, oh, it's on the front page. So number 11, Pam for BSNA access. This has got to do with in stride of trying to figure out where all our fund balances are. She needs to have access to all the BSNA accounts, which does not access to change anything, access to view. Right now that is restricted. And I'd like to suggest that we change that so she can view all the stuff in there while she's trying to track the money down.
I had logged in with your director. You had no more access to that.
I'm not so sure that's a bad thing for me. I, all I know is you need access. I'm okay with that, but it starts with you and as far as the supervisor.
I thought when we sat in your office, that was set up week one. To get your credentials for BSNA.
Well, I would venture to guess that in 8 months, all of them are screwed up because that's the way VCQ goes. But she does not have access to get in there and actually look at the numbers. And I get it, it's kind of locked down because if you get in there and go nuts, changing things, it screws up everything.
So I have a dumb question. How did the budget get done last year?
Yeah, that's,
So what else do you need access to?
Not love access.
Maybe that's for a reason, I don't know.
well, again, it's still new, not to change. There's levels of it.
I would like to suggest that I don't have a problem with this because, obviously work has to get done, the job has to get done. However, as I've been told numerous times, every sitting board member and elected official should have the credentials to view BSNA,
And
not change anything. I cannot get in. I was told in week 1 or 2 that I cannot get the credentials.
and that's part of this
Something
issue.
wrong with your equipment. It
No,
has to-
no.
Okay.
Let's clarify. Nothing wrong. Supervisor Bertrand and Deputy Supervisor.
I've taken a formal request.
Yep.
To make sure that there's no additional hangups that somebody doesn't want us to have.
Yep.
And you're correct, and I'm hoping the Kodiak fixes all the
Yep.
crap for us.
Yeah, I was told I can't get the credentials.
PSNA.
It's a software.
It's a government system.
So everything is,
It's the man behind it.
it's money, rose. Yes.
Anyway, that's the rationale behind it. I'm gonna make a motion that, for now anyway, that Pam Scott be allowed to access to BSNA to view whatever she needs to look at and tracking down all the different funds.
I would just add on to that, I think all of us should have
Yeah,
the same access.
I think all of us is coming
I mean,
with,
to you anyway.
right, with Kodiak. Again, I don't want to bug VC3 right now.
Yeah.
I don't want them doing anything. Every time they do,
With that.
they fix one thing and two go wrong.
Why don't we hold this off until we get the thing changed over and we know it's gonna work?
Well, for instance, Pam needs access now for the stuff we're doing in the budget. All right, so I made a motion. Was it a second or did you ask a question there?
I think second.
Okay, any other?
You did now.
Yeah, I did now. Okay, then again, this is for Pam Scott to have access to view BSNA in order to work on budget stuff. So we have a second. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. Mr. Hobbs. Thank you for working the protocol over there. You've been very quiet.
It was there.
She's fallen asleep.
Okay, as stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed the same?
They,
Okay, the motion carries. Steve, were you a yes or a no there?
I'm not going nay.
Okay, motion carries 3-2. Okay, last thing was the addition of the ordinance officer. And I did want to say first that the little birdie who told me we're having a meeting here pretty quick. I was gonna come prepared in that to give a couple options on the ordinance officer thing. As far as what I would propose. And see what you guys think about that and then make a decision whether you want to hire somebody new or have me do that. But I don't have it all done yet. I would probably be done in a week.
I think you got enough on your plate and we should be hiring somebody new.
I get it. What I'm saying is I have like a presentation I was gonna do before you make that decision. If you could wait a week, I'd like to try and do that.
you're having a special meeting for a couple other things, are we not?
Right, there's a couple things we need to get done. I'm just gonna put it
Is that
out.
right? Put it off for a week?
Why not? It's been.
It's been a while.
I can tell you right now, that I've been doing it for free. And now that Richard was here and I know what needs to happen in regards to that. If I continue, it's not gonna be for free.
well, the board needs to approve it.
Right,
We've-
yeah, that's what I'm bringing to,
Yeah.
I'm bringing to, then if you want to go find somebody who doesn't know anything about what happened, that's.
Janet's volunteering.
Okay, just on the point of discussion, are you okay with waiting for a week or do you want
Yeah, we'll
to do
take,
something?
we'll table. Good, these two.
So that is that end of the agenda, I believe. We are now to public comment for anybody who hung in this long, for God's sakes. God bless you.
In order, do they?
So let me get a timestamp again before public comment, please. Yikes.
We really gotta limit these to posts.
Well, we,
Could be an hour and a half.
I mean, at an hour, I actually should have made a motion that we continue past an hour, finish the agenda.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you got
Yeah.
something to say, come on up to the mic and let her fly.
I just have a question because just saw the township on Facebook. And was it November 1st? We're starting recycling for metal and all of that. And it says cell phones and cell phone batteries. Can we bring in regular batteries like AA, blah, blah, blah?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, that's all I need to know.
There's a cardboard Gaylord box inside the compost. So it's open when the compost is Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, and there'll be an attendant in there and he'll just show you where to throw them in.
Okay.
Turned on, it says electronic.
Super. Okay, kind of like how they do at the road commission twice a year,
Yeah,
kinda.
similar to that. They think they're hazardous too. So.
Yeah. Treasurer Hops, I'd like to make a comment if I could about this and maybe you can answer this. So what happens in the winter when the compost shuts down? It won't be any recycling. I'm assuming everyone goes back to curbside, this. Couple of things were mentioned to me. Does the township have adequate liability insurance to cover any hazmat materials? Like someone said, what if I go drop off a car battery in the acid, something happens? Do we have, we already contacted Eagle. We do not need a special permit for this. I do know that.
Yes, and I contacted Paul Wilson and he
Yep.
said there's no issues.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
That.
True. Someone asked me, so
There were,
When you get, when you take which one, you're talking about,
oh, I know cell phone batteries, but someone said if it's out there, what if someone wants to throw their,
well, it'd be crazy to work. I mean, instead if they need a new battery, you get
no, I'm just saying,
finger off that. Yeah,
but it is a hazardous material. I wanted to make sure if we're covered, we're good.
yeah, we're not doing car batteries.
You never know.
No, we're not that.
Oh,
You're done.
okay, back to public comment. Anything you say, please? Get up through. Oh, Pam's gonna say something.
No, wait.
And thank you for coming tonight to do the video stuff in lieu
No
of
problem.
Andrew not being able.
Treasurer Hobbs, we were blessed to speak with GFL. And at that point, they talked about the curbside recycling. Could you go into that a little bit more? It's not $10 a
Yeah.
year.
It's kind of one type of it, you still, oh, yeah. So we just, we're not gonna pursue that. You know,
Okay, because
because it's, yeah, it was more than what I originally put it, so. You know, I can bring it up. Something.
The 10 of yours, sounded great.
Yeah, 10 years sound really.
Samuel Jackson Jr., how you doing?
All right. I know you all have this. Material. That page. People I can tell me that you all get it. On some finance here with.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. You want, the first two you're familiar with, one is from Camp Cornelia. And the second one is from the Higgins Lake Utility Authority in Lord. Reason why I wanted you to have this copy is that Beaver Creek has sort of been left out of this equation altogether as far as having discussions with other parties that knows what's going on with Camp Cornelia and Higgins Lake.
Hey, in 2025, when did this happen?
This is what I have.
Which is first, April first. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It says August 1st. This didn't just happen.
It's supposed to have it signed by August first.
Okay.
The method behind this is that Beaver Creek Township Board has been left out of the equation. All the questions maybe be asked and interchange with Camp Cornelia people that were here at a meeting. And then, of course, the Higgins Lake Utility Authority should have had the chance to address all these as well. But the point is that Beaver Creek has not been, you all haven't even contacted them to discuss with them about Higgins Lake Utility Authority and the issues that we have. Because they're all one. Higgins Lake Utility Authority is made up of Beaver Creek and Higgins Lake. So I've mentioned before only so that you'll get two sides of the story. That's the method behind just making sure you have all that information. The other is, just to change the subject now, reflective tapes. We were discussing this at the Planning Commission. We're going to discuss it more at our next meeting. A reflective tape. Let's say there's a fire, there's smoke. Reflecting, and the firemen are in there with their headgear and lights and so forth. They can see this reflective tape. So the thought maybe is that maybe a reflective tape should be on a bedroom somewhere, the door maybe, or the outside window, so they'll know that's a bedroom. Just another possibility of a safety feature that could help designate, well, where's the bedrooms? So, because I have reflective tapes that I've had on my Fifth Avenue out there for like 25 years. They don't fade. It's something to entertain and discuss further, which we're going to do ourselves under the.
So I'm not understanding.
Reflective, all right,
In somebody's house?
yeah, reflective.
In the
tape.
rentals.
Oh, rentals, okay.
Oh, no, not, I'm saying, not necessarily rentals. Yes, we are gonna recommend that. That's what I'm gonna recommend for rentals especially, but for all of us.
Oh,
In that regard, it's safe.
A little bit about this.
sorry.
When my kids were young, they used to put reflective stuff on the outside glass of the window saying there was a kid in.
Mhm.
For the firemen. Then some firemen got killed looking for a kid who was not there. And I don't know what happened after that, but I know that happened because I used to have them on mine and then I took.
It was just a thought.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm gonna bring it up for rentals. Yes, that's just a thought because it was brought up to us. We're gonna look at that. But I'm bringing it up as a whole.
You know, and bringing that up, JC and the fire department just kind of like a preventive maintenance thing. They just went around to the bars, the restaurants, the gas stations. And they had a whole format with the owners. They wanted to know where their propane is, where their gas is. So if there's ever a call out there, they've got all this information, and they're not just going in blind. So it's kind of a similar.
Yes, it is.
Similar.
That's gonna be along the short-term rental as well. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank
I
you.
have something for you too. I started to send the material to our attorney who wants to do a brief overview on the whole, Camp Cornelia and HLUA. I've never got anything in writing from the HLU. I asked for things like if you have signed agreements. I don't know that we didn't at the time we had the meeting, and I don't know that I have yet. You talk to them, ask them to send us something. I mean, we can't represent their store. And
I would ask you then, you ask the questions you want them to answer.
I already did.
Well, you're telling me that. I don't know nothing about that. That's not I'm not gonna get in the middle of that. If you say you did, then if you emailed them something, then I would suggest that you redo it again because they get their correspondence. And by the way, since you just mentioned that, the phone number that was brought up at the meeting. I called that number. The same number they've had for the last 4 or 5 years. It has not altered in any way, shape, or form. That's another, I would say, tool that you would want to entertain to hear for yourself what that message says compared to what was said here at that meeting, when they would call, no response, no answer. The message hasn't changed in all those years. So then I'm just saying, that's why you need to look at two sides of everything. I'm giving you this information for you to look at.
Yeah,
All right, now the questions you want, Paul, I would say you should redo that again.
I don't know. that-
And then who did you just send it to? Did you just send it to,
I asked
Doug
right
Kite?
here, I asked
Yeah.
this meeting.
all right, you did send it.
No, I asked them to give me anything they had, a signed agreement, written agreement. But the only thing that I can think is that maybe they froze in place because it's mediation and they feel they're not talking about it. But I asked.
Well, then I would suggest do yourself a big favor. Email them that information. Then you have a documentation of a paper trail that you did your due diligence to ask them those questions, and there'd be no doubt. If they don't respond, shame on them.
I
That's my
actually
suggestion.
was gonna let the attorney.
That's fine. That's fine.
And you know, just for the record, I'd like to say that, yes, there are two sides to everything. However, I'm not sure what this phone number thing is about, because I've never actually called the number. But I've looked at the website, it's on my iPad. It clearly states in bright bold red letters, they will not be returning phone calls.
All I'm getting at,
So
it's been like that for 4 years.
that they don't
Nothing has
return phone
changed.
calls?
No, I'm just saying,
I'm asking.
that's the phone number they instituted 4 years ago. It's still the same.
Right, but.
Right, but I'm asking,
Tell us,
in
yeah.
4 years ago, did they answer phone calls?
I can't answer
Okay,
that.
I'll,
I can't answer that. I just know that the phone call that they had, this 800 number, whatever,
sure,
is the same for
Yeah.
4 years.
makes sense. Yeah,
All right, thank you.
thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Samuel. Anybody else got anything they want to say? On once? Twice? Okay, close the public comment. I'd like to get a second for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
You have it.
Okay. We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye. 9:33.
It's the same. All right, meeting's adjourned.
Not a record.